to do it, though. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special episode of Bounty Hunt. Because it's my birthday. What's up, everybody? I'm one of your hosts, Eric Eilerson, and joining me today to talk all about Andor Episode 7 is two of my best guys, who I love so dearly, and who are just okay at Overwatch. Starting off, it's Dr. Corey Helton. Happy Saturday, buddy.
Happy Saturday. Just okay is generous, honestly. we had a birthday celebration with Eric last night. Today's his birthday. Did you say that already? I'm not sure if I heard you say that.
But it means more when you say it. It does.
Happy birthday. I
Thanks,
wasn't
man.
listening to you in your intro. But we played Overwatch last night. Had a video game party. I don't know if that's what you call that. That sounds kind of lame.
That's what the youths are calling it.
The youths call it. Let's have a video game party.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a good time. I don't think the five of us, me and you and Charles and Wes and Tim, we've never done that before. Really.
No.
Not like officially. And that was a hell of a time, man. I had a good time doing that. So
yeah, it was a great time. It was the Andor of Hangouts, you could say.
It was.
Because it was freaking excellent.
That's right.
And of course, the man who we missed so desperately last week, he was on vacation, thinning the herds of all beasts, land and sea. It's Wes Jenkins. What's up, buddy?
What's going on, Eric? Happy birthday, man.
Thanks, man.
Yes, I was on vacation last week. I was out of pocket or I would have been on the show. Yet I was in South Dakota, in Dallas, South Dakota. That's an actual place. And it was the start of pheasant hunting season. Pheasant is an upland game bird. It's like a size bigger than a chicken, I guess. But we do that every year. I had a good time. We got some footage. I'm going to make a 10 to 15 minute video of what we did. I'll share it with you guys when it comes out. It takes a little while, but I had a great time. I'm back, though, so we can talk about Andor. I watched 2 episodes this morning. It started at 8:30 a.m. I was upset with my dog for waking me up early, yet I'm glad he did. So here we go.
Good boy, Doc. Good boy. He knows what's important.
Also, go Astros.
Oh, wow. Yeah, okay, we put it in there. How you? What's the count now, Wes?
We're up 2-0, and we got a game this afternoon, Saturday, anyways.
All right, well, I want you to be happy, but you're also kind of a villain, so I accept it. But everyone else that is, whether you're an Astros fan, a pheasant hunter, a video gamer, or just an Andor lover, we're happy that you're listening to the show, watching us. If this is your first bounty hunt, welcome. What we're going to do a full spoiler-filled recap of Episode 7 announcement. Then we're just going to talk about it a little bit. The last few shows, we've just been each kind of taking talking points. It helps that this happens to be during probably the best Star Wars show we've ever gotten, so it's a lot of fun. So, without any further ado, let's dive into what happened on Episode 7 announcement. Again, full spoilers. We begin with our buddy Zero preparing for his job interview in a high-collared brown suit that his mom hates, as word of the Aldani heist travels all across Coruscant. Freaking Wolf Yularen, ever heard of him, gives a speech to the ISB proclaiming stricter laws to be placed on all sectors as a consequence of the heist. Mon Mothma visits Luthen in his little antique hut to interrogate him about his role in the attack, but instead of being worried about Palpatine's response, Luthen welcomes it. This was his plan the whole time. Clea, meanwhile, meets Vel on Coruscant and congratulates her on a job well done and gives her an assignment to tie up a loose end, Cassian Andor. Meanwhile, Cassian returns to Ferrix to see Maarva and B2. Hold on. And B2, our little buddy, and tells them about his recent wealth and invites them to leave with him the next day. They're finally getting off planet. After a quick visit with Bix to settle his debts and say his goodbyes, Cassian is ready to go. Mon Mothma then attends a dinner party where she runs into an old school friend who she recruits into the inner circle. He has access to her family's fortune, and his politics may be just extreme enough to work. Perrin also totally thinks they're sleeping together, I think, but doesn't really care. It's murky. Back on Ferrix, Maarva confesses to Cassian that she is not going. Her fight is on Ferrix, and she has been inspired by the heroes on Aldani. He can't stay, and she can't go. And although he'll be worried about her, that's just love. Cassian then makes his way to Neamos, or Space Miami, where he attempts to stay out of the way. But before long, Imperial shore troopers take him in on suspicion of causing a little bit of trouble. And after a run-in with the KX droid, Cassian is sentenced to 6 years in an Imperial prison for being, quote, just a tourist. All right, fellas. That was our latest episode of Andor. Wes, as you said, you watched the last 2 episodes back to back. We did not get your thoughts last week, so I want to start with you. Take us through the last 2 episodes. Obviously, mostly this one, but how are you liking the Eye? And then what did the announcement do for you with this kind of transition episode?
So the last episode with the Eye, they finally got to it after 2 episodes that we thought was going to happen. We finally got the actual robbery, the heist, if you will. I thought it was great. It was fantastic. I've been noticing like a bunch of these camera spots where they're focusing in on one of the rebel leaders, let's say Tamarin, and then it moves over to Nemec as Tamarin walks. They didn't change the camera angle, but they just changed the focus. It's fantastic. They did such a great job with this show. But the whole forgive me. What are the culturalists or the people that are on
the Downies.
The Downies, yes.
Yeah.
I saw so the Downies were great. I loved that part. I loved how he gave them I don't know if you're supposed to throw your gift into the fire once an Imperial gives it to you.
Right.
That could be a ceremonial thing, but that's okay.
Maybe rude. Who's to say?
Yes, but of course, when any heist goes to plan, means it's not going to go to plan. So you had an Imperial officer overhear something over the comms, and eventually sent some soldiers and TIE fighter pilots out to chase after the rebels, which was great. But they got away. At the very end, I didn't see Steen. Skeen, right? Skeen, yeah. Skeen. I did not see Skeen being one as to want to go against the rebellion yet. He was his own rebel, and it didn't surprise me, though. So, great episode. Great episode. I did think that Andor was going to stick around with the rebellion, but apparently... So as he ran, and I got into episode 7, the announcement, they kind of built on that as... Andor it was a one-time thing. He just went in there, get the money, he's out, he's going to go do his own idea of freedom, if you will. But I saw a lot of like immaturity in him and a lot of
sure.
Yeah, and then I saw a lot of growth, I guess, of Maarva because she's not going anywhere, right? So we'll get into all that, but like, I mean, Corey said this is like one of the best Star Wars shows that's ever been made. And as I'm watching it, he told me that last night before I watched these 2 episodes. I was like, that can't be real. I mean, The Mandalorian, and it's really hard to top The Mandalorian. But damn it, these last 2 episodes really solidified that they have progressed ever since The Mandalorian came out 2-3 years ago. It's so good. It is so good. And you don't have to be a Star Wars fan to like this damn show. No. You might need to know, like... who some of these droids are. You're like, oh, what's this little metal thing that has that speaks English? And then, ask your friends, go on Discord, come and talk and chat with us about it. But you don't have to be a Star Wars fan to like this show, which is great. And I think that's kind of the premise of what they were doing when they started this show. So they need to market this thing a lot better. They need to put this on Sunday Night Football or something.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Let people actually watch. Be like, hey, listen. There's this awesome spy thriller y'all are missing, but it's so accessible. I'm glad you're loving it. I'm glad it's so good. I think maybe later today I might do the episode 6 and 7 back to back. Maybe that's how I'll spend my afternoon because it seems like a good time. So Corey, we did chat, of course, last week about episode 6. So I want to get your episode 7 thoughts, all the way from Cyril's high collar to Space Miami. What did you think about this one?
I'll make a small correction to Wes. What I said last night actually was not that Andor is the best Star Wars TV show ever. I actually maybe am in the camp that I believe that Andor might be the best Star Wars production of any Star Wars anything.
Yep, that was the quote.
Films,
a leap.
TV, and everything. Like, I honestly am just totally blown away with how good the show is. Like, the writing is perfect. The graphics are as close to perfect as you've ever seen. Like,
well,
I almost think
we'll talk about that one part.
Yeah, it's fine. There's a couple small, tiny little moments, but I mean, there was a painted mural in Empire Strikes Back behind Lando and Han and the Falcon. So I like, this is going to sound like blasphemy, and maybe this is recency bias, but I honestly would consider Andor maybe better than Empire Strikes Back at this current moment, which is unbelievable frankly. I really just can't believe how good this show is. I mean, I've seen people. The only criticism I've seen online, I've looked for it actually. I searched Reddit for it this week, and it's like the only thing that has any merit whatsoever is people are like, it doesn't have any lightsabers and Jedi and stuff in it. And I'm like, I didn't realize that those things were part of like that is what defines Star Wars. I don't think it does. I mean, maybe that's because maybe that's because we're huge fans of just Star Wars in general and the whole gigantic universe of it. I honestly just, it's silly as it sounds. I just can't believe it. I can't believe this show is as good as it is. I know I've said this about a lot of the shows and Kenobi and stuff, but this is really set the bar really, really high. And I'm having a blast. I like this past episode. We were talking last night, and Charles, I'm going to out him on the show. Charles said this was maybe his least favorite, I think, so far, is what he said.
That's why he's not here today.
That's right. We told him he wasn't allowed to be on the show because he sucks.
He's busy. No. We're like, get out.
Sorry, your opinions are invalid, and we don't tolerate those things here. That's not true. Charles is doing something else today. I don't know what Charles is doing. He told us he was partying earlier, so I don't know. Anyway, I thought this episode was fun. I enjoyed this episode for different reasons, I think, than I've enjoyed any other episode. The political intrigue is high in this one. That's some of the things that I want to talk about today, especially is all the games of chess between the different political organizations that we're seeing on screen is just so much fun, and I'm really, really digging. I enjoyed this episode. I thought it was very, very good.
Yeah. I agreed with what you guys said. This one, I mean, it just keeps improving on itself, the show. Like each episode is so good, and this is such a completely different episode than episode 6. And I think that's what really is bringing Andor to the next level of what you're saying, Corey. Like I am kind of in the camp of this might be the best thing that Star Wars has ever done. And I think because when it's an action show, it's the best action show. When it's a quiet intrigue show, it's the best quiet intrigue show. Like it's really firing on all cylinders. And this episode, we went from a giant, like high quality CGI chase with TIE fighters and the eye and glorious epic spectacle. And this one, we had like a 5-minute scene of Mon Mothma at her dinner party talking about how she is the knife at the throat of the Empire. And I'm like, go off!
Dude,
like
what a
it was
line,
just
by
so,
the way. Good Lord.
Yeah. I was so intrigued by it. And then like we get these moments in this episode. I loved getting back to Ferrix. I mean, I'm not sure if we're going to get back there again, but I loved getting one more scene with Maarva and B2 and Bix and just like getting the ramifications. Because I think oftentimes in Star Wars, we get these big set pieces and then we move on to the next one. But I called this episode I won't say the word on the show, but it's the mess around was episode 6. And this is the find out is episode 7. You can put your own curse word in there if you like. But like, this is literally Cassian being like, great, I did a thing and I'm done. Oh my gosh, I forgot. I made my entire planet now hostile for everyone I love. Mon coming to Luthen being like, oh my God, this horrible thing happened. Luthen's like, yeah, that was the point. If no one dies, if no one suffers, then no one's going to get mad enough to start a revolution. And it's like, oh my God, right. That's the plan, is that you have to get people incensed. And it was just so harsh to see that. Again, of course, ending with now Cassian realizing, I'm going to go retire in Miami. I'm going to go bounce around women again. I'm just going to have my money, whatever. And it's like, nah, dude, you made it like what, a day or something? And then you just got 6 years in prison.
For being paranoid.
So, the first thing I actually do want to talk about, let's go right to that Mon Mothma line. Corey, I know we mentioned it. And let's talk about her because it's not a huge part of the episode as far as minutes goes, but I think it's huge as far as impact. We see her kind of go to Luthen and really call him out, but then this dinner party scene, which I thought was just marvelous. She finds her childhood chum from Chandrila, who I love his line of like, my politics might be a little extreme for you, and she's like, oh, child. What did you guys think about her being that one brutal with the way she talked about herself, with being the knife and the stone and that stuff? But also, she was very blunt about I am going to basically try to overthrow the government. What did you guys think about this whole thing?
Yeah.
I loved all of this, man. Like, this is one of my favorite political moments in this entire show so far. There was just a lot to digest about this. I love that she continually told him to smile and to laugh and to keep the look up. I love that, that he's like, I don't know that you know, look around. Like I relate with that guy a lot, actually.
Mhm.
Like I really am kind of, I don't know. I'm a fairly authoritarian person in general.
This
So
is true.
like he's looking up at me. I know. So like, you know, like that would literally, I would talk to my friends like this. Like, what are you doing? Look around at this ridiculousness. You're surrounded by this empire. Like you might find my politics a bit, what does he say? But what for your take?
I think it was strong, extreme, something like that.
Strong.
Basically, he's saying like I'm a little too left for you. Is what he's saying.
Yeah,
I thought that
my politics a bit strong for you. Yeah,
yeah.
What a great line.
I thought that was great because he thought he was like the most extreme, and she's like, "Give me a break."
There was a subtle moment too that I don't know if this appears in some other media, but she said something about like a line that he had said in an interview or something. Like your point about me being weak-willed Mothma was particularly cruel is what she said. But that is really what really sealed the nail in the coffin of my image, is basically what she was saying. So thank you for that. And like her face when she says it's all fake, it's a lie. Like it's such amazing acting. It was very good.
Kalma, that's his name. Tay Kalma. I was looking in the net. I think that's him at least.
Yeah, I mean, I loved that so much. And he's like, "What are you talking about exactly?" And she's like, "I can't tell you. I won't say it."
Yeah,
like
she didn't reveal her cards, all her cards, just a little bit.
Yeah, I need to access my family's money. Yeah. You can do it, and you know that if I tell you, you're going to be implicated. And you don't want that because I'm actually way further than you think. Then she sealed it by repeating a line to him. You might find my politics a bit strong for your taste. I was like, that was just utterly brilliant. Just Steve O'Reilly, man.
Don't tell my husband anything. He knows nothing and he can't be trusted. As he's walking over,
dude, her husband.
He can't be trusted.
The dialogue in this scene is arguably the best dialogue ever in the history of Star Wars. Like, can you tell me any other dialogue that's better than this? This was brilliant, utterly brilliant.
And I love, Wes, you brought up this screen cap here on the video. Like the framing and the camera work is showing them literally behind they're hidden, they're obscured, they're hiding in plain sight. Like this was such and again they're both playing the game. We're smiling, and he thinks he has this whole facade. And throughout the scene, she's like, I love what you say, Corey. She's prodding him like, stay with me, with me, keep it up, keep it up. And yeah, that end of her saying that about Perrin, about confirming what we know as audience, to say he can't be trusted, and she knows that she's in control. And then the camera immediately goes to him, and he's like, "Oh, hello, old school friends, are we?" And she's like, "Yes, you little idiot." Like, oh God, he has no idea.
I love that I love that this guy too, in the blue. I forget what did you say his name was.
I already Tev Kalma, maybe.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, I
love that
I love that he is kind of like he's the one that came in with I have strong political opinions and I hate the Empire, and she slowly reveals to him about the rebellion basically, and he can't keep it together. Like she has to keep telling him to put the act back on because she's such a pro at being this facade. And I love this.
She kept telling him to smile, and I didn't see one instance where he was smiling in this whole conversation. He was just like aghast shaken in every one of these scenes.
Shook. He shook straight up.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
And I will, to change gears a little bit too, if you're all right with that, Eric.
That's great.
To compare and contrast this with the other political intrigue to me, which is some of the best politics we've seen in Star Wars so far, is everything happening at the ISB.
Yeah,
because that was also brilliant. We got that back to back with this stuff. So I love that we're getting good guy politics and bad guy politics. I mean, this stuff is really, really fun in the books. I love Tarkin. Tarkin is such an excellent novel by James Luceno. He's really good at writing those like games of chess, if you will, like between the different Imperials. And I think my favorite moment of all of this was that's what's her name came forward with all this evidence or whatever, and he's like, "Come with me, we're gonna have a walk," or whatever. I really expected him to be like, thank you for. I expected two things to happen: either to say, "Don't ever call me out in front of everybody ever again." I thought that might be what happened, or or that you're right. You pointed out some holes in my strategy, and I'm now putting you in charge of finding that. I thought that was going to happen, but no. The only thing he says to her is "Watch your back." There's no
Watch
commendation.
your back.
There's no, we're going to improve our systems and be better at controlling the situation. He just says, "Watch your back," and I thought that was really brilliant. It totally took me by surprise, and it just put into perspective this whole like political stuff that's happening at the ISB. I love her character, by the way.
Oh yeah,
That
Dedra. Yeah.
Yes, I hope that Dedra continues to be a great villain, and I hope that we get to see her do some stuff to confirm that she's a villain. Sorry, my dogs are going crazy.
Do you
in the background.
do you think that throughout this, well, I guess the rest of this season and next season, she becomes impressed with the rebels, with like their scheming and the way that they manufacture all this, that she's like, maybe I'm fighting for the wrong side?
Maybe I can maybe see that. I don't want that though. To be clear,
I'm losing that a little more episode by episode. I think as she's growing, like this, the fact that in the meeting she gets called out for her integrity. And by Blevins, and she's like, "Yeah, go for it. What do you got?" And then he says all this stuff, and then she's like, "Cool, I found this." And Partagaz is like, "You were right. You're taking over that sector. We're done. Watch your back, kid."
Yeah.
I think that alone, she's like, "You know what? I am playing this freaking game, and I am the only one that actually understands the rebel threat, and my boss's boss understands that." And I think she's gonna keep going. I do think though, we might get the story of her drive to climb the ladder and not watch her back as much is eventually going to become her downfall.
Yeah. I mean, if you
eventually
take a look at this screen cap here, if you're watching live on YouTube or if you're watching later, she's only two little blue squares away from being head of the table. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Look at that. Just
the squares tell a story,
blue
man.
squares.
I know. I really enjoy her character. I hope we get to continually see a woman villain. I feel like we've not really had a great example of that in Star Wars. So I would really love to see.
Ventress is pretty
There's
good.
lots of them in the books. Yeah, Ventress is great. But like an Imperial woman. We have Price as well in Rebels, who's another great villain. But although I hate that Price in the end is sort of made out to be incompetent. I really hate that.
She's second fiddle to Thrawn. She's just a pawn in his own plans. Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to see a big scary woman Imperial, like what's her name? Darla, is that her name from the X-Wing series? No.
Oh my gosh. I can feel Jared and Freddie yelling.
I know one of the last books is named after. What's it
Is there a Y in it?
Izar.
Yes,
Izar's Revenge is the book I was thinking of.
Of course.
Yeah, Izar, excellent, scary, cruel, evil Imperial villain from the books, and this character is a lot like her, and I wonder if she's loosely based on her in some ways. Big fan of this stuff for sure.
Yeah. The Imperials are doing a lot of really freaking cool stuff, and the fact that we get the rebellion and the Empire both growing kind of at the same time in the show, I think is really smart. I'm glad we're not just getting an Imperial episode, and then we're not just getting a Rebel episode, and not just getting we kind of wondered if that was going to be the case in this episode. But I'm really glad they didn't. So that was a lot of fun.
Do we get to point out the head of the table that started the whole show that you talked about in the summary? Mr.
Hit it, man.
Mr. Yularen here?
Yes!
What a great
Live
casting
action.
idea right here. It looks pretty spot on, you know?
Yeah, looks just like him. Is he the guy that announced that he's the one that said all this stuff, right? That they now have all this authority? Yeah, okay. Interesting. Why is he in charge of, is he actually head of ISB? Or is the other guy head of ISB? They also look very similar, which is a little confusing.
Well, I mean, I would say that he has some kind of authority over the other guy because he has 5 little blue squares. This guy's got 3 red squares. So I imagine that he is like his
I'm gonna
so
look
we have
this up
supervisors and we have managers.
There's a Wikipedia article that has all the pictures of the squares.
So I believe he's the managing authority over multiple sectors. And then the other guy just has his own sector that he's managing. I'm assuming that's kind of where we're lying with this one. But if I scroll along here, I wanted to get a shot of Dedra.
He had 3 and 3. Is that what he had?
Yeah, he had 3 and 3.
Okay.
Oh man, and I forgot about this whole episode of. Oh, it was different in the beginning. It was in the I'm sorry, the episode before when I forgot what the man's name was, but it's like one of the head guys with the goatee and the gray hair, and he couldn't get his belt to close. And he was like, somebody didn't pack this away right, and it's because he got fat. So
the commandant. The commandant.
yeah, that was last episode, but I needed to bring that up because that made me chuckle.
Well, we're seeing so many different types of them too, right? Like Yularen is so competent, and Partagas is so competent, and then the commandant is like, he could have been used just as a blumbering comic relief. And I feel like if this was like a Rebels type animated show, they did kind of do that a lot, like use their incompetence for comedy. And like you said, Corey, when they did it with Price, it like kind of deflated that arc a little bit. And I'm glad that even if the Imperials are making mistakes here, we're still seeing them as impressive. And I think Yularen and Partagas kind of tie in with the TIE fighters from episode 6 of the Empire is scary, dude. This is the fascist government.
Yes.
Like, and respect how terrifying they are. The stormtroopers miss everybody. Yeah, cool. They're also making horrid laws that are really scary, you know?
Yeah, they have the firepower and the military like prowess to back all that up. So even if you don't enjoy the laws that they're putting upon everybody, whether it be Imperial like sympathizers or people who don't care about the Empire, everybody's getting it now. And it's getting it like with a heavy, heavy fist, like I wrote in the description. But
that's nice.
Yeah,
good.
Thanks.
Well, and I want to ask you guys about that too, because we get that scene near the start of the episode with Luthen. Like we're getting just little teases of Luthen now in the episodes, and I really like kind of checking in with him. He's like a nice grounding presence for us. And what you guys think about his brief talk with Mon? Because she thought, oh my God, have you heard about this? Was this you? She was so shocked. And were you surprised that Luthen was like, all going to plan? This is exactly what was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Give me more money. People are going to die. Deal with it. Like, he was pretty cold about that.
Yeah, he was super cool. To finish this one thought about the rank thing.
Blue.
Okay, so there's blue, yellow, and red are the different colors, and it kind of represents like what forces they can call on as a leader. So blue is intelligence, red is navy. So the fact that all these other people have blue squares means they're intelligence. The fact that Yularen has blue and red means that he's kind of a middle person. He can call on the navy and on intelligence, that makes sense why he is explaining that now they have the authority. So pay attention to this. Maybe in the next episode, next time we see them, maybe they're all going to have red on their squares.
Because the military and intelligence are meshing.
Are separate branches. But they're meshing. Right? There's also yellow, which is ground troops, right? It's the army, which is why Thrawn has, and there's white also, which is something else. I don't know what white is.
Wow.
White? I'm not sure what white is, but yeah. So maybe
damn it,
Thrawn has all.
It didn't go low enough to me to see.
Thrawn has got all the different colors, right? So I don't know. I don't know anything about if the ranking stuff is like this in real life. But anyway, that's
awesome.
That's the Star Wars. That'll be interesting to see. There we go. See all those different colors? Yeah, white is something else as well.
Yeah, so we got blue, yellow, and red.
Yeah.
Thrawn Alliance is there.
And there's white. I think there's white on there too. Well, maybe not. I can't see the white.
I think it's just like
just glare.
Yeah. So we'll see. And when I did the Google search for it, it had specifically Yularen's has specifically 3 red and 3 blue. So I don't know why exactly that is. So
they know him.
That's a captain in the Navy and
the Navy.
It's a captain is the rank. But anyway, sorry. Deep dive there, and I might be right. It's hard to Legends and canon is a little bit different, and I don't know if what I was reading was exactly it. But anyway, the point is, pay attention to the colors. Maybe they'll change now. That would be fun. Like if they change them slightly, it'll be a nice detail to notice.
See the evolution as it goes on.
Anyway, back to Luthen. You're asking about Luthen. Like I have an interesting theory that I wanted to bring up with you guys about Luthen, because he is sort of turning into this like character that maybe Mon Mothma didn't know what she was signing up for a little bit. Like he seems a little bit more like in justifies the means kind of guy a little bit. And we have another character in Star Wars who is very much like this, and you guys know who I'm talking about. Wes is doing a sawing motion. I appreciate that. If this were charades, I would get that right. Saw Gerrera, fellas.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I thought this big time when we saw this. I'm like, I'm wondering if we're seeing the development because I can't be the only one that's asked the question like, where the hell is Luthen during the rebellion stuff, right? Like, why isn't he around?
Yeah.
Right. So, and why is he not in Rebels? Why is he not a character? Why is this a new character rather than someone we've seen before? And I almost wonder if Luthen is like the divide between the rebellion that was like Saw Gerrera's group and the council and Mon Mothma's political secret group. Is like, you think that's what we're seeing here? Is this going to develop into that?
I think so because we know Saw is going to be in the show at some point.
That's right.
We saw him in the trailer. So Luthen talks to him, and I do think that he's definitely trying to live in both those worlds, right? I think that he does think that he's doing the right thing, like those silent moments that Stellan Skarsgård just acts out brilliantly every time we get a moment of him, without dialogue. You can see in his eyes that he is really kind of struggling with how hard it is and the level of sacrifice he has to make. Like he'll be really blunt with Mon and be strong when he needs to be. But, a couple episodes ago, he was listening on the thing. He's worried about the heist. And even now, when she leaves, he's like worried about the money. And I think he's almost at the edge of his rope. But I do think that he is telling himself, like, I'm in it now. There's no going back. This has to be worth it. And I think that I'm getting the vibe that he has tried to either create rebellion or get people to talk out against Palpatine in all the good ways. He's tried to play the game, and he's like, the only way this works is if people see their friends and family in pain. And I know that Palpatine has so much pride that he will fight back relentlessly, and this will cause people to suffer. This will be bad for a while, but that's the only way to get people to listen. And I think that's unfortunately the most relatable part of this show. Because that's how real change seems to happen in our world, is that until it's in your backyard or until someone that is affected and hurt in some way, it's hard to take action. It's like, oh, that's like Coruscant, or that's the Outer Rim, or that's in a different country. Like, I don't know. But then, like, the Aldhani heist happens. Now the laws are changing. Now you have people occupying your planet. I think Luthen's like, that's what had to happen. And it sucks. But, I mean... he's not wrong, I guess, based on what we know happens.
I don't. It's hard to. This is conflict. There's a lot of ethics around this and war. A lot of ethic discussions around the concept of war in general, right? And as big of a history buff as I am about this, something I'm very fascinated by is the concept of the ethics and morality around warfare. And I love that we're exploring that a little bit in this show. I wish we could get really heavy discussion about it. Maybe we will. If it's ever going to happen in anything, it's going to be in this show.
Right. My gosh.
We need to I want to see the Rebel Alliance have the atomic bomb discussion, does using the atomic bomb, if we can predict that it's going to end the war, like, should we use it? Right. And there's a lot of fascinating historical debate about that. Should the United States
we had that in Rebels. Remember that Rebels arc where Saw Gerrera had the giant kyber crystal? That was kind of what that was almost. But I think if we get that in live action where they're planning that, because Saw, come on, it's Saw Gerrera. We know he'd go there.
Are we talking about the Death Star? Is that the atomic bomb?
I mean, it could be.
In this universe, it is, I guess.
Really, any scenario around the idea of, like, we're going to kill a whole bunch of people and that are honestly innocent bystanders and all of this, but we have to force the Empire to act. We have to. This is how we win. That sort of discussion is very interesting and fascinating ethically because we can see how that's going to play out. Mon Mothma will very much be in the camp of no, we cannot do that. Right. That doesn't justify it. And then Saw Gerrera will not be in that camp. Right. So I would love to see that divide that we sort of get explained in Rebels, which has truly, really never been explained very well. So,
that would be really fun to see. And of course, we're already seeing these moral splits on the smaller end because your point on that note I see here, Corey, is we then get the scene of Vel and Clea. Also, Vel didn't recognize her until she started talking.
No.
What a great transformation.
Seriously.
But getting...
How timely.
Yeah. But now she's getting the mission to essentially now kill Cassian from Luthen. Like, we got to tie up loose ends.
This was an interesting scene a little bit to me. It felt a little bit like the dialogue and scenery and the secrecy of it all was sort of implying that Luthen's not involved a little bit. Did you guys get that vibe?
I think Luthen wants his hands clean of it at this point.
Maybe,
I think he's like,
maybe, but we are taking all that at her word here,
Yeah.
which is very interesting.
I'm seeing her as more of an authority figure than I had originally thought of her.
Exactly.
All of us.
She's
thought
exactly.
Of her, yes.
that's a great point because she is
It
saying like
seems
Luthen, chill out. You're not going to hear anything about the heist tonight. Luthen, go do
Right.
this. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Are we going to get the roles flipped a little bit, and he actually works for her, and not she works for him? I
would
don't know.
love
That's
that.
interesting. I would love that as well. Be a nice little, play of the hands there. But yeah, I found that scene to be a little odd. Like, I feel like we're supposed to read into it. Like, the dialogue choices were interesting. It's implied that yes, he read your message. Are you stupid for contacting him? Like, I expected him to be here, and it's like, he doesn't care about this kind of, I don't know. It was weird to me. It was weird to me because we had no signs before this that Luthen instructed her to go out to meet Bell. We had no signs that Luthen read a message from her. Like, I don't know. She's always in that back room.
Oh, you know what? Remember that? Oh, couple episodes ago, he said, "I got careless." She said, "What do you mean?" He said,
Yeah.
I hired
She's
someone.
trying to fix it for him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe she's trying to tie up the loose end herself. Yeah, exactly. I get some kind of vibes like about that. Like, because I don't know. Yeah.
Also, did you guys notice that the symbol on the ground that she saw was the Andor symbol from like the show?
I saw that. Yeah.
I thought at first it was the Crimson Dawn symbol for a second. I was like, whoa. But it wasn't a full circle. But I'm like, oh, that's cool how they're like organically fitting that in. It's like seeing the Mythosaur skull in Mandalorian. It's like, hey, I know what that is.
Also,
right there.
There you go. I also didn't recognize this character. I have no idea what her name is. Not Vel, the other woman. Clea. Yeah, I didn't recognize her at all. I thought I had a moment for a split second where I thought it might have been Princess Leia, to be honest. Which would be very interesting. I don't know if we're gonna go there. But when she's walking and she's really pretty and she's in these clothing, she gets off. She has some of the facial features a little bit.
She's a little old because I think Leia's about at this point would be 14.
Yeah,
because it's 5 years before Yavin. Yeah.
Everybody has like a different look. You have your rebel look and you have your put up business casual look, I guess.
Oh yeah.
So they have different mannerisms as well. So obviously.
Speaking of that, small detail too. I love that I don't know anybody's names. I really need to have a character sheet in front of me. Like, this is ridiculous.
Oh, I have IMDb in another window as we're talking.
I know.
Straight up.
The ISB woman, what's her name? Dara?
Dedra. See, this is why you got to collect Funkos. The names are on the box.
Oh my god!
And then you learn them.
Yes, Dedra. She called out that guy for his tunic and stuff.
Yeah,
that was cool. Yeah, that
he's like, sorry, sir, ma'am, sorry, ma'am, sorry.
That was good. That was good. I like that. It's
idiot.
I know. It's reinforcing that
you and your 2 blue stars.
I know.
and you're sleeping.
Is that white? Hey, it might be white. Is that blue or is that white?
I think it's blue.
You think it's blue? Okay.
It's glare.
We're seeing. Yes, the glare. All right. No, I was getting excited there.
Yeah.
Anyway, this was neat.
Yeah, lots of clothes stuff this episode because we had that, and then we had you wearing a brown suit. It's a brown suit. I had it tailored. Like, I love that we keep going back to that idea of like appearance is so important. Key.
Appearances
on Coruscant.
Yeah, it's a key theme about the show is appearances, man.
Yeah, your clothes have to be on point so you fit in, but also no one looks at you, so they can't see what you're doing. But you also have to show status, and like the aesthetic of Coruscant is incredible. The architecture, oh my god, like all these apartments we go into are just unbelievable. But the costuming is also just so on point, and I love going from Vel specifically. We said she was so unrecognizable. Going from poncho, hair up, sleeping in the dirt, to like wearing heels, hair has got a full blowout. Like I am a Coruscanti elite. I couldn't be a rebel. Of course I didn't do that on Eldani. Like, God, it's just so great.
Coruscant, they've really nailed it, man. Like, it feels huge to me.
Yes.
Right. I think it's
massive.
I was thinking about this when I was watching again, the characters. I was watching the woman we were just talking about when we were watching her like get off the transport and walk around and stuff. Like we see a lot of people walking in like low ceilings but they're wide open spaces and low ceilings and stuff. It implies that it's like very tight. Like everything is very squished together. Like even though Coruscant is this massive city planet, like it's really easy to blend in because everything is so squished together like a huge major city. Look at these hallways. Look how short the ceilings are.
Yeah.
Like,
and you're being watched. I mean, the troopers can see everyone at all times. You never have a moment of being hidden, which is what's so great about their meeting when they do have to find this one clandestine place, which is weirdly open. It's in contrast.
And even look at Wes, if you find a picture of where they meet too, like look at this scene as well, because the lines and the architecture, it feels very cramped and city, even though they had this weird little like private space that they're in. I love that the architecture continually reinforces that. Yeah, look at this. Look how cramped it looks. Even like it feels like we're underground. It feels like we're underneath something. Like we're underneath a parking garage or something, right? Like
because the
I love that. Like exactly. So like Coruscant feels really squished to me. It feels like you're in a New York subway all the time.
Yeah, they ran out of room on a planet. So they had to keep building up. That's insane, right?
Exactly.
An entire city planet.
I know.
It's
and
we've never Duracrete. Sorry, not concrete.
I know. There you go. And we've never really captured that well in Star Wars media. Like all the Coruscant that we've got in like the prequels and Revenge of the Sith and stuff is wide open. You know, we're in the Senate, we're in the Jedi Temple courtyards, like we're in these gigantic wide open spaces. And this show is really depicted Coruscant really, really well with all this architecture and concrete, and big fan.
Yeah. Oh my. Okay. I just went through. I'm going to completely flip this over.
Do it.
In this picture here, is this not where they're keeping like the data like discs that from Rogue One?
Does look like that.
Doesn't that look like that?
Some of them at least. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That does look
Scarif
like,
was the big it seems like it was like the backups, right? Or the original hard copy stuff. So this is probably like another leg of the ISB.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it looks like he's using those controls to like reach out and grab one of those discs and pull it out. I didn't even see that.
That looks great. Yeah, that's awesome.
Great catch. Now, I want to take us to a second. We're talking again. One of the things I love so much about this show is that we've been talking for 40 minutes about all the great stuff in this, and we haven't mentioned the freaking titular character, who is also great in this show.
That's true.
But it's because everything is so amazing, right? It's no dig on him. Like everything is just so good. So I want to take obviously his main scene when he goes back and he's like, my plan is finally done. I did my job. We can get out of here.
Oh, that's the main scene?
Well, for him. Okay. Oh yeah, sorry. Okay.
Not this one in the shower.
The full Cassian. Let's be clear. This was
Eric.
He's a beautiful man, Diego. You're doing well. Good job. That Anytime Fitness membership is paying off. But not a sponsor. But I do want to say the scene where he's talking to Maarva and they have their moment about I figured it out. We can go, and he's so excited. And the double speak they have with her being accidentally inspired by something he cannot tell her about. Yeah. And she can't. So he hears her being so proud of him, yet he can't accept it. And I mean, Fiona Shaw, we said before as Maarva, like her scenes are short, but they're so impactful. She's a true master of her craft. I think this was her best scene in the whole show, of her being like, this, I love you more than I've ever loved anything else, and I can't go. And I was just, it really, really hit me. And I think Cassian
is love. That's just God, love. What a line, dude.
Like it's her son, and he's like, you're so proud of me, but I can't tell you this.
I know.
You think I'm abandoning you and running away, but I'm not. And
what was that in response to? What did he say? He's like,
I'll never not worry about you. If you don't come with me, I won't stop worrying about you. And she said, that's just love.
Good Lord, what dialogue! Like,
I'm getting goosebumps right now just talking about it.
I'm telling you, every single episode, the dialogue just shakes me, and I think it's just because I'm just not used to it in Star Wars. Like Star Wars is just so classic for having like a lot of kind of cringy dialogue in places, or it's cliche, not cringy is not the right way. There is cringy dialogue, right? There is noticeably bad dialogue, like Attack of the Clones level dialogue, right?
Yeah.
But like.
And it's action based. It's like we're let's go to this planet. Wait, you're saying it's very exposition and it's fun because it pushes the story. but these are just emotional conversations.
They are, and they're capturing it really, really well, and they feel realistic. Like they do. It doesn't feel like TV conversations where things are rushed, and it's like people don't actually talk like this in real life. Like it doesn't feel like it feels real and heavy. And man,
that whole conversation. And when I said earlier, you see the immaturity in Cassian and the maturity in Maarva. Like she says she cannot leave because, I mean, practicality. I'm too old. I'm keep running the entire time. But if I'm away and we're hiding, how am I supposed to be helping the rebellion, right? And so and Cassian's like, I'm trying to get out of here. I got all this money, and we can be safe and we can be away from this. Yet he's going to be this whole empire, the entire like military prowess, all of the jurisdiction that's being weighed heavily down upon everybody is going to increase. It's going to fester. It's like a virus. So he's not going to be able to do anything. And Maarva's like, we need to do something here, you know? And that whole line about her putting on her best jacket and walking through the town square was amazing. That was great.
The first time. Yeah, we didn't even touch on that. We saw the flashback of what happened to his dad. And obviously, like we'd heard about this. I mentioned it.
Yeah, I'd not even thought about this character. Honestly, I forgot that he kind of existed until this. Clem.
Yeah. Real Clem, not fake Clem.
Yeah, real Clem. Also, these were clone troopers, by the way. Yep. That was brutal.
This was Republic era, man.
Yeah, dude.
That was horrifying.
New Empire, like this is New Empire stuff that we're seeing. That was dark. They hung him in the square, like dude.
Yeah, we saw his, and I don't blame. And she talks about like the trauma of walking in that area. She's like, I always take the long road. And we know we see her with the cane, so that's hard for her. Like she has taken a physically more difficult path out of fear for years, and then all of a sudden, because of something that he did, I think this is where the wheels start to turn. Is that he helped his own mother find the strength to overcome the trauma about his father on their home. And she's like, she was so proud when she said it too. You could see that even though she's telling him goodbye, she's like, I did this and I stood up to them because of these heroes on Aldhani, and I can do it. And I'm just like, Mom, like you're and he this is one of my favorite scenes of the year, man. That
was very, very good. She's like, I'm too old to like stand by any longer. Yep. I'm just like, oh man, it was so brilliant. Like to see someone who's not really capable of standing up, like feel this huge urge to stand up. And he's like, what are you gonna do? You can't do anything. You can barely walk. And she's like, things need to be done. I will find something to do. I will find some way to contribute. And I just love that. It was very, very good. Yeah. Also, I want to bring up the kid in the flashbacks as well, running at the troopers with the spear, which we immediately moved on from. What was that about?
I think I think that's Cassian. I would assume. Because or is it a different kid? No, he was in it. You're right. It was just another kid trying to be a rebel, right?
Maybe.
I'm gonna rewatch it now.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right.
That was sort of odd being in there. I wonder if that's going to come back and be some kind of important. I'm not really sure what they were trying to portray with that.
Every time that part pulls up, it's always a view of Cassian's face, and then it cuts to that actual scene. So he's like thinking hard, and then it cuts to that back. This right here of him like thinking about that. I don't know.
It doesn't look like him though, because we saw him as a kid earlier in the show, and he doesn't look like that. Get somebody else. Like I don't know. It's very interesting. Maybe it is supposed to be him. He's just a little older or something.
Yeah. Maybe he's thinking that could have been him. Kind of thing.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe.
But it's such a good picture. Right?
And what I love about going from this, like combining this part of the scene to the end of the episode, Neamos? Yeah, I don't know, Space Miami. I'm always going to call it Space Miami because that's absolutely what it is. Is that I love that this is the episode where Cassian realizes that he's kind of accidentally been a bystander his whole life, right? And he's the one thing he did just now inspired his mom and the entire planet. So like, okay, great. I'm still going to run away from it. I can just fade into the distance now. And I think, honestly, the end of this episode where him saying, I'm just a tourist, which he legitimately was. He did not do anything wrong at all at the end here. But I think this is the thesis of the show. This whole scene, I think, and I think some people are going to like say, oh, is this the one where there's the K droid or cool stormtroopers? But this is the moment where Cassian realizes if there is a fascist government, there's no such thing as just being an innocent bystander. Because no one is innocent if someone has a bad day. If there's absolute power, it doesn't matter if there's any reason to arrest you. It doesn't matter if there's any reason to imprison you. They can just do it if they want. And I think this is Cassian's final moment. Like, he's had the heist go wrong. He's seen now his mom be inspired. And now he's been like, I can just mind my own business and be arrested. Screw this. The Empire's got to go down.
Yeah.
He also seems very unhappy here. In the beginning of this episode. I mean, he's got the beautiful woman, you know, he's kind of living it up, but he's still having to look over his shoulder, right? He's got this, he's got
it's like hollow a little bit.
Gun, and his money in it, and like he's still kind of having to live this life, even though he's in this luxurious place, and like, and like the Empire is even here, like. And
Shore Troopers from Scarif though. I love that armor.
Yeah, I love the short. When they first showed up, I was like, "Is that a Shore Trooper?" It's like, "It is. It is a Shore Trooper." Fantastic art. I love that. It's one of my favorites.
I think it is my favorite armor of any trooper armor we've ever seen.
Same.
Also, K2 droids. They're here. I had a moment. I think we all did. Of like, is this beat K2? Like,
I don't think so.
I don't think so. It's not. I think we're probably gonna get that though.
Maybe it's season 2.
Yep.
But and then little Easter egg, the trooper that was telling him to like calm down, sir. That was a Sam Witwer. Little Easter egg. He did the voiceover. Yep.
Really?
Yep. Darth Maul himself.
It was so conflicting too. Like he kept saying like different things. Like he's like, "Why are you running?" He's like, "I wasn't running." Like, God. It's like, "Why are you getting angry?" And he's like, "I'm not angry."
Not angry.
It's so chilling because it legit reminds me of like those horrible like body cam videos you see in real life of people getting arrested. Of like, gotta calm down. It's like, I'm gone. What I'm doing? My hands are up. I'm doing everything. And it's like,
I know.
It's riding that line between being so uncomfortably realistic and tense and also being like Star Wars. And I'm like, damn, Gilroy's guys,
he gets it.
Really. This is a great still frame of a person who's flying through the air, Wes. This is a great pause.
He's dragging. He grabbed him and flung him up. This was the worst CGI in the show. But
you thought it was bad?
Oh, I thought it was real bad, dude. I thought it was terrible.
I didn't know.
Let me show it to you.
Play it in real time.
I'm playing it in real time right now. So the K2 droid, just give a. Come on, man.
Okay, that looked bad. You're right. I thought it looked bad. All right, that was subtle though. I didn't notice it the first time. I'm glad you pointed it out. I'm just listen. I'm so focused on the ships being bad CGI. I'm just so pleased that we've fixed that somehow.
It looks so good.
I don't notice stuff like that. I guess so.
Where's the Mon Mothma Lego ship, guys? It's right there. We've seen it now multiple times. Yeah. This
now the last
episode was just so good.
It was very good. The last arc I wanted to bring up briefly that we continually come back to, I still have no idea where the hell it's going to go, is the Cyril arc.
Yeah.
Do it.
Couple small things about this one that I found really funny. One of my bullet points here is watching TV in Star Wars. That's a thing, apparently. I don't know, Wes, if you can find that one specific shot, but he's sitting there eating his breakfast or whatever, arguing with his mom, and there's a TV on. And they're casually watching the news in Star Wars. We've never seen that before. That's very funny and interesting to me because we generally see people communicate via hologram and things like that. And the news, the holonet, if you will, has always been a thing in the books, and the media has always been a huge thing. So it's funny to see it in Star Wars. Like, look at this TV on in the background. Yeah. It's like what happened? It's just it looks like a tube TV, man. Like
it's like built into the wall.
Yeah.
Like the 90s or something. Like it looks the way that TV is portraying like Back to the Future or some shit. And I love it.
And another thing that I noticed is that his mom has every appliance you can purchase at the store, like all along her countertop. Like
she does.
That's who she is.
She's a victim of consumerism herself.
Oh yeah, she loves it.
Yeah. Now he's got this job at the government. I guess he works for the government now, and they're gonna wipe his record clean. That was interesting.
Yeah.
We now have an out
like
to do
data some kind of analysis desk job, the desk job of the Empire. You know, just
fuel purity. Is that what it is? It's Wes's job. This is what you do, Wes.
That's what you do, Wes.
Look, this damn shot of this, I was like, God, is it really creeping back into my non-work life? Like, this is where I would be. I would be in one of these somewhere.
Yeah.
And they'd be looking over my shoulder. Are you Googling something now, Wes? Are you on fantasy football right now? No, sir. Exactly. I am not.
This guy's playing solitaire or Galaga. We wouldn't notice.
This was brilliant. This was brilliant because we're also getting a little bit of the insight into we're seeing Cassian, who's having to he's trying to run from the Empire, right? So we have that style of hiding from the fascist government, of running from the Empire. And, it's not a problem if you never look up, type of scenario, right? And then we have this type of running from the Empire of I'm just going to blend in, right? Nobody can bother me if I just blend in and we're going to see it all come undone, right? There's no way to hide from the Empire. Even if you're just doing your job and blending in, look at this, dude. The brutalist architecture in this and the imagery here is,
dude,
man, the patrolling,
so
the people are patrolling the cubicles,
because he's like, I did my job and now I have this awful office job, and he's like, and I love it. They don't really do this a lot, but he's almost breaking the fourth wall, looking at the camera, office style of
is this what I'm really about for my life?
What is my purpose? You pass butter cereal. Oh my God.
Exactly. He looks very unhappy. He looks like he can't let go of this Cassian thing. He got a little fiery when he was explaining to his new boss why he got fired from his last job.
For doing my duty.
He's going to clear his name. Do everything in my power to clear my name. But first,
the guy's like, whatever, let's just do that right now. And he just checks the box, I guess, and wipes his record clean.
Which was also infuriating, right?
Right now.
Yeah.
You got to be wait, you could just do, that has to be, I don't think it was freeing at all for him. Cyril really seemed to be oh my God, why this one thing destroyed my life? And you can just press a button.
I know.
You can just press a button.
Right. There's genuinely no redeemable quality to the Empire. Part of him, he feels all this conflict. And I love this actor too, by the way. His emotion, I cannot read him. His emotions are he looks just so filled with turmoil the whole time. Is like he feels like he got what he deserved in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
He feels like he was right to pursue this justice of getting these two guys killed. Of these two guys that got killed, right?
Yeah.
But he also now feels like all this was his fault. He got a whole bunch of other guys killed, and he feels all this turmoil of I kind of got what was coming to him. The Empire was right. He probably has these mix of feelings about this, and the sense of a loss of justice for some bureaucrat to just be oh, we don't really care about this. Let's just wipe this off your record is, like you say, Eric, it's infuriating for him because his entire sense of justice is being challenged with all of these scenarios happening. And I still have no freaking clue where this arc is going to go. It feels like it feels like it's going to be very, very important, whatever it is. Is this going to be the big bad? Is he going to get sucked into the ISB? We have this background about Dedra of she was a boots on the ground kind of cop character, right? And so is he. Well, right. So
here's my thought now. After this last episode, we saw Dedra now officially, because Partagaz gave it to her, control of the Ferric sector, right?
Yes.
She's now taken over. She gets all the records. I bet what name is going to come up in those records related to this heist? Cyril.
Yeah.
But I think she's going to go and say,
now he's working on Coruscant, right? Oh, he's on Coruscant? He is on Coruscant, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I think she's going to show up at his cubicle and be like, are you Cyril? He's like, oh my gosh, yes, please. And I think she's going to get him out.
I think she's going to show up at his mom's house, and she's going to be there, and she's going to be like, her dinner? What? You can't go work for the ISB. You can't do that. And Dedra, and he has his own mother hauled away because he's loyal to the real Empire, and he doesn't care about her. That's what we're going to see. That's my gritty prediction.
That's pretty gritty.
Oh my God. That's great. All the while, this is going to be happening while we have another freaking jailbreak arc.
Oh, yeah, he's getting out somehow because I don't know that
Bell's going to break him
out. 6 years until he got out. He's like, oh yeah, I did my time.
Bell's going to break him out.
I got out 4 years of good behavior.
or Saw Gerrera shows up and pulls a Rebel Rising and just slaughters literally everyone at the prison. He's like, hello!
He opens the hatch. Come, my child.
We have to get to season 2.
That's how it ends. That's how the season ends.
Oh God.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Got so many. Again, we've gotten 7 incredible episodes. And now, so looking ahead, we know as far as the structure of the last 5 episodes go, we're going to get a 3-episode arc with the same director like they have, and then we get a 2-part finale. So that is our next 5 weeks looking ahead. I haven't checked who's the creative people on the next 3 episodes myself yet, but I mean, given how good they've all been so far, I have no doubt to the quality. Any thoughts on what the next arc is going to bring us? I know we'll probably get that breakout thing, or do you think we're going to get more ISB stuff? Do you think we're saving that for the finale? What's brief speculation? What's coming next?
Ooh. Okay, I got to speculate. I got a speculation. I can speculate.
I can do that.
Let's say that the rebels, they find out that Cassian is in prison, and they're still chasing him down because Cassian's got to go. He is he could like unravel this whole thing for the rebels.
He could narc essentially.
Yes. Narc. So
narc, freaking narc.
They break him out only to try to kill him, and kind of get away from that link, and then be able to move on with the rebellion. So I figured they break him out, and then they try to kill him, but he either gets away, he convinces them, does something. But I think it's them because it was such a small piece in this episode. I think it's got to be bigger next episode. They got to kind of crescendo that into something like, you got to get this fixed. You understand? So that's where I think it's going.
I like that. I did just check. The director for the next 3 is the director of the first 3. Toby Haynes, same guy.
Okay, interesting. Okay. My predictions are that I have a bunch of them at this point. I think that Vel is gonna decide she doesn't want to work for Luthen anymore because he sucks. He's too crazy, right? She wants to work for a movement. She doesn't want to work for a
assassin, essentially.
Assassin type of thing. And I think
Saboteurs,
in some way,
assassins.
Exactly. I think in some way Vel is going to get hooked up with Mon Mothma, and that's how Cassian is going to lead to.
She's going to hook up with Mon Mothma.
I hope so on screen.
Hey, Perrin, you deserve it and more and worse.
Everybody on this
guess
show
I'll watch that show.
Everybody on this show is way too hot. I just have to
They're
say
all
that.
so attractive. It's worse.
Mon Mothma's hair is friggin' perfect in every one of these scenes. It's perfect.
Yes.
She is.
Shout out to the hair and makeup department. It's incredible.
So beautiful. Seriously. Anyway, so I think Vel's gonna get Cassian out of jail. I think they're gonna get with connected to Mon Mothma somehow. I think that's gonna happen. I think Saw Gerrera is gonna be end up linked to Luthen some way, and we're gonna see a divide in the rebellion, like I've already said. You've already heard my crazy prediction for Cyril. I think he's gonna go ISB. Like, I think I'm in the camp. There's 2 camps. You either gotta be he's rebellion camp or he's Empire camp, and I think he's Empire. I think that's where I'm at right now. I think Cass is gonna get broken out of jail. I think he's gonna get connected with Mon Mothma, like I said. And what's the other big thing that's happening right now?
Mon Mothma,
big arcs.
Cassian, Luthen.
The ISB stuff. I think the ISB stuff. I think she's going to end up with more and more power, essentially, until she's ultimately beaten in some major way in the finale. I think is what's going to happen.
Yes, I agree. I think that with her, I think she's definitely going to recruit Cyril for information. I think the final 2-parter is going to be on Ferrix. I think she's going to basically hold Maarva and B2 like hostage for Cassian to come back.
Interesting.
And I don't know if everyone's going to make it out of Ferrix.
I don't think so. I forgot about the Ferrix people. That's the arc I forgot about. Yeah.
I think that she has something there. I think the next one, though, bringing Vel in was very specific. So I think that she's going to be given the orders to break him out and kill him or kill him in prison or something like that. But I think she's going to tell him that and say, no, I think this is bigger. But I also think that Cassian is now on the upward trajectory of joining up. I think that he is now agreeing that he can't just stand by. And I also think we'll get some new characters. I think for this breakout, I think he'll have a cellmate. We didn't know any of the Vel cell in the first arc, so I think we're gonna get another ensemble of folks. And I think he'll probably work on the breakout episode 8, work on the breakout episode 9. Get out of there episode 10, and then the big showdown in 11 and 12.
So CJ in the chat brings up the manifesto. A little bit. That. I wonder if they're going to find that the Empire is going to find that Cassian has that. That
oh my God,
very damning.
That's life in prison at that point, or execution.
It might execute. Maybe that's how everybody finds out where he is. Like the rebellion finds out where Cassian is they're like, we caught the guy, like maybe they put it on TV or something. I don't know.
Oh my God. And it's like the end of Pirates of the Caribbean where they take him out to execute him. And then they're like, Cassian Andor. And then they all storm the square. And that's how they break him out. And they're like, this is the day you almost caught Cassian Andor.
But wait,
hang him
that's not his handwriting.
Shoots the rope.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it'll be a swashbuckling good time. There's going to be political intrigue, and I don't know, maybe Perrin will get like food poisoning or something. I don't know. He's got to have something bad happen to him. I'm sick of this guy.
Stubs his toe, get a hangnail, whatever.
Sucks.
Some
Her
kind of
kid
pain.
sucks too. Interesting that we're continuing to make her a character for some reason. Is that going to come back? Is she roughly the same age as Princess Leia? Actually,
I think she is.
That's interesting. Maybe they're in like the same club or something. I don't know.
Maybe in student government.
Maybe she overhears something.
Junior Senate, right? That's the thing.
Junior Senate, yeah.
Maybe she overhears something Mon Mothma is talking about, and she just outs her mother because she's not really.
Ugh, I don't like that, but it's very plausible.
Whatever the most, if we've learned anything from Andor, whatever the most emotionally painful and exquisitely well-written way there is to solve a problem, that's what we're going to get.
Oh my God.
Cannot wait. Of course, we do have to wait, which is the unfortunate thing because Andor is going to be back next week, as will we, talking about episode 8. Gosh, this show just continues to blow away all our expectations. We hope you're all enjoying it as much as we are. Leave us some comments. Let us know what you're loving so much about Andor. Head over to our Discord channel, of course, where everyone is using spoiler tags to talk about the episode. But my friends, for now, that will do it for this week's episode of Bounty Hunt. Keep your eyes out next week for our next hunt, and we'll be hunting down episode 8 of Andor for the next arc. A special thank you to Brian Dooley, Patrick Ortiz, Earl Q, Robert Thomas, and Carl Sander on our Jedi High Council, and James T, Elizabeth Cloutier, Ashley Ingalls, and Sally and Chris Eilerson on our Alliance High Command. Go ahead and tell us all your thoughts about Andor in Discord, on Twitter, wherever you want, and be sure to follow our main show at Living Force Pod. You can also follow us individually. I'm at Eric Eilerson, Corey is at Corey M. Helton, Wes is at Boss Wes, and Charles is not on the show. Come back on, you get your Twitter back. Until next time, everyone, may the Force be with you.